Welcome to another episode of Wild Girls Gone Sober. I'm Lindsey.
And I'm Amy. Welcome to Wild Girls Gone Sober.
Sobriety in Paradise.
Yep.
It's
And
actually quite gorgeous out today.
it is. It is. It's been hot. It's been super hot, but I don't
know.
like to complain about the heat because I'd rather it's hot than cold.
Oh, absolutely. I know last night Pat's like, ooh, it's going to be a high of 87 tomorrow. Get your sweater out.
It's a cool day. Yeah, it's been pretty steamy. And the bar, so we live on the coast, so we always have a breeze, but the barn feels like it's in the middle of the damn state.
Because it is.
Yeah, Palm City's like the armpit of Martin
Oh
County sweat-wise.
I don't.
No, not that it's bad. It's a beautiful area, but it's friggin' steamy when you get there. It's crazy. So I always feel bad for my horse. It's hot as a mofo. And the day before yesterday, I had to ride at like high noon, and I was trying to fit it in the middle of my day and take a lunch break. And poor thing was like, "What are you doing, woman?"
It's hot.
Yeah, it was hot.
It's hot. Yeah. So what have you been up to? Speaking of the horse, Mr. Winter.
Yeah, that's like 90% of my adventures, I feel like right now, is I'm really focused on riding 6 days a week. I'm trying to get myself in some semblance of shape to compete. We are not in shape to compete yet. So I suspect we won't really be doing anything till like late fall, probably, competition-wise. Like October, November, probably. Monday the week started out rough. So we're having some, not that everybody wants to hear all about horses, but we're having some issues with saddle fit because he's built differently than any other horse I've ever had. And so nothing I own fits him. And so his back has gotten a little sore, and we're trying different combinations of saddles and pads and other things. And I need to buy the right saddle. We just don't know what that is yet. And so I gave him a few days off because I didn't want him to be ouchy. And then I got on Monday and he was out of his mind, and it was funny. I'm in the ring doing my thing and trying to like get his brain back in his head. And my trainer walked in with another horse that she had to ride, and she was like, "Oh, so he's running away with you? Okay." Let's
And for those of you who don't know, that means
yeah, he was like literally running away with me. Like I had no control. I was just like, I'm up there like, "Oh, well, this is fascinating." But it's definitely good practice in being centered and zen and mindful, because you can't like freak out up there, or it just makes the situation worse. You just have to be like, "Oh, look at you running away with me right now."
Because the horse like feels your attitude and
your energy for sure has a huge impact. So anyway, so that's been my adventure. This week has literally been like the week of trying to like bring him back to normal, which I feel that we did. Like by yesterday, he was back to a good space. But I was like, I don't think I can ever give him a day off. I think he has to work 7 days a week for the rest of his life because he was a lunatic. So, yeah.
So I really enjoyed, what was it, last week? I got to go meet Mr. Winter, Amy's horse.
That was so exciting.
And it really was. I've never been a horse person, and I've been on a horse one time. They just always scared me because of their large size.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, so I've just been on one once, and it was like on the beach in Fort Pierce, so it was like all cute. But those are like probably old, I'm assuming those are old, retired.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, same trail every time.
But that's okay. It's still good.
Yeah, but it was really the best part of it was not just meeting Winter because he's so handsome and sweet. Like I got to give him a little carrot, and he like. I could feel his little, yeah, I could feel his teeth, which I was like, oh, and then I'm like, remain calm. But he was really sweet. But it was seeing you, and you were like glowing, and just, even though we had just played golf and we were really gross, and it was like about to rain, and so there's a lot going on. And plus, I'm not technically supposed to be at the barn.
Yeah, we're on COVID restrictions, so I was kind of breaking the law there.
So, but you were just like, your whole body was relaxed, and like you were just you were just glowing. It was just really it made me feel like my heart felt warm just to see you so happy, because I don't know if you're just tuning in for the first time or not, but Amy's just had a love for horses and forever, and drinking kind of put a halt on that. And you had to get rid of a horse and spend a lot of money where you didn't want to, and so now you're coming up on 10 months. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, 3 days. No, 5, 6, 7, 8 days.
8 days, yeah.
Yep. Like, wait, I got to do
I'm like,
backwards math.
whoa.
I had to do backwards math there. I'm like, is it 17?
This is why I keep
Carry
scoring
the
golf.
2.
No, I'm just kidding.
Carry the 2, -5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
that was traumatic, and kind of leading into our passion
yeah.
conversation. Um, it was a part of who I was as a human being. Like it's part of how I define myself. Like how often do you talk to me that I don't somehow end up talking about horses, right? It's my thing.
Right.
And so to not have that in my world was really gut wrenching, and I was really having to give up Rolo was traumatic for me, and I like couldn't even talk about it for a really long time without crying.
Oh
So
no,
I
I
just
remember.
couldn't
Yeah.
talk about it. And it was like being an incomplete person. Like it was like I lost my identity. And it's been huge to get back into it, and to get back into it in the sport that I'm passionate about. That's been a big deal too. Cause I was, even before having to give Rolo up, I was a little lost down here in Florida because there really isn't a community of my sport where we
Hmm.
live. It's all up in Ocala. So to now be with a trainer that competes in my sport and doing what I'm doing, it's reinvigorated the passion for me. Sometimes it's still hard because I don't get a lot of support on the family side for it. Like Jason, he's not anti-horse, but he doesn't care to be involved. Like he doesn't want to come to the barn and see him, and he doesn't want to come to shows, and he doesn't, you know what I mean? Like he just
Hmm.
doesn't want to do that stuff for his own various reasons. And so it's hard because I don't really have a cheering section other than my barn people. So
Hmm.
that's why it was like extra super fun for me for you to want to come see him, because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, yay, I get to show my pony off to somebody. So it's
Well, and
funny.
it's really like it's interesting because I mean, Jay Snow has his other hobby, and you're always going to support him. And he does, I mean, he supports the horse, or else
Yeah, yeah.
he could make a big stink about it if he
Right.
wasn't, right? It's almost like him not saying anything is supportive enough because it's financially, a lot.
It
But
is a big expense. But he has stated
hmm
blatantly, like, I am in support of you having this horse. I get that it's a mental health thing for you, and I'm glad you have it. Like,
yeah.
he is supportive in that way. It's not his thing. He doesn't want to
Well, and it's like having the community of it too. So we've been in COVID for
ever.
ever. And I used to work out with a group in Stewart, and it was like on and off because it was like when I wasn't drinking, because it's the only way to get me up at 4 in the morning and like go work out and do stuff. So meet people at the park at 4:45. Like I don't know, I went to bed at midnight. I don't even know how I survived doing any of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was a community of people, and so lately, like I've been doing the same kind of like routine, and I feel like I'm getting into like a bit of a slump. And I was,
Because you're doing it by yourself.
because I'm doing it by myself. And like, Pat goes to the gym, but he goes to the gym, and like I'm not comfortable going to the gym. Like I almost had to fight that lady, but got my money back. I'm just not comfortable doing that. Like, where are
Yeah.
you gonna find COVID? The gym, right? But it's that community aspect of it. So the fact that like you have that with your barn girls on Skid Row or whatever you call your gaggle, um, I think that's the missing piece for me is like I just want somebody to, because they're gonna push you, right? Like you and I are competitive. We're at we push each other, like
Right.
just anything, golf, working out, eating right, like we're but it's in a positive way.
Hmm.
And like I just don't have anybody doing that for me right now, working out. And that's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of put me in a little bit of a slump. But now that I have like pinpointed what it is,
You feel
now
better
I can
about
do
it.
something about it, right? Which is
Mm.
also like, ugh, now I have to do something about it because I know it's wrong.
Well, and your slump is more emotional. I mean, you've been running and doing your thing. Like you haven't
Hmm.
stopped working out. It's not that kind of slump. You're right. I mean, I feel like you're like, oh, I ran 3 miles every time I
Well,
talk to you. And I'm like, oh, that sounds exhausting. I don't want to do
well,
that.
and also too, like what getting sober and figuring out, like always were a horse person, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know who I was. Like what I don't know. Do I like golfing? Like now I have to do it sober. Is that gonna be fun? Like, do I
Mm-hmm.
like running, or do I just do it because that's supposedly supposed to, give you a nice body and then people will like me and want, like
Right.
so it's almost like
Am I passionate about it, or am I going through the motions?
right.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. And I had posted something in our
Hmm.
Facebook group this past week about, just
Can you share that on our Facebook?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I just haven't sat down in front of my
Okay. No
computer,
problem.
and I feel like
Sorry. Go ahead. I
I
just
have
want
to
to
do
make
it to
sure.
copy it. Sorry, my bad. But so I'll share it. But I had posted about like just how good it feels to have that passion back. And there were several responses to it, but one of the responses, this woman, I think she might be still in her first 90 days. I'm not
Mhm.
sure. I don't remember if she specified that, but she was just saying, you know, like, how long did that take? Because I'm not feeling it. And I get that. I didn't for a
Mhm.
long time. And I think for a lot of people, like, I am fortunate. I've known since I was 7 years old that this was what I wanted in my life. Like, I thought I was going to be a horse trainer and run a boarding facility. I went to school for it. Like, that's totally what I thought I was going to do with my life. So I've always known like horses
Mhm.
were my thing. Um, I think for a lot of people, especially if you've really had a rough go and drinking took up a lot of your mental capacity and your time, probably don't know exactly who you are and what you want and what lights your fire. So I think, and what I said to her was, try some stuff. You
Mhm.
know, what did you do in high school? Did you run track? Did you play band? Like, what did you do? What were you excited about when you were a kid? Did you want to be a
Right.
fireman? Like,
Right.
just think about things like that and try different things. And I think now it's especially hard because of COVID, because it's not
Mhm.
like you can go take a painting class or go sculpt something or join a group fitness thing. You know, it's not
Right.
like you can do those things because a lot of it isn't available. So,
I read in this book once, and I don't know which book it was, but and I've heard this before, is like when you find yourself like smiling or being happy, kind of take like a mental note of that. Like, what were you doing, right? Like, were you, watching children play? Like, is volunteering with kids going to be your thing? Like, maybe
right.
try that out. Were you, crafting and making something, and the next thing you're selling your bracelets
Your
online for
wares on
$200,
Etsy.
and right, and that's your passion. And
Right.
so I think that helps too, because I kind of realized that like my passion is giving back a lot too, and part of that with COVID and the struggle is like I almost feel guilty not volunteering or doing anything with
Right.
with my because I have the extra time, right? Because that's always another like complaint, people aren't volunteering. It's like have the extra time, but I don't want to be around a bunch of
No, and I
people.
don't think there's a lot of opportunity to be volunteering right now.
There is. Oh my
Really?
God, I've been seeing, I can't even go on Facebook anymore just because of the people and their stupid comments, but also because of that.
Huh.
And then a lot of people are traveling where I'm like, ugh, that seems not good, especially since we're in Florida. But to each their own. But finding your passion is it's a journey, right? It's forever. I mean, you're still finding passions you like. You
Mhm.
found golf the past 4 years, and
Right.
clearly we're going to play golf if you
Clearly, we're
couldn't
playing golf
tell.
today. We're dressed for golf. We're totally I'm having a screw off Friday. Lindsay's having her last furlough Friday, so we're celebrating with golf.
Yes.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about our golf on Wednesday night. So we're
Mhm.
playing in a ladies' league on Wednesday nights, and I felt like I had so much fun Wednesday.
Me
Like we were
too.
so funny and fun, and it's probably the first one in a little while where I felt like that relaxed and just had a good time.
You definitely were.
Yeah, I really had fun. Well, I have a hard time not just being super competitive, and that's why I kind of like I told you I needed to like it can't be us being competitive with each other, or
Oh,
that's
right.
all I'm gonna think about. And
Right.
I have a hard time not being ultra competitive, no matter how much I try to have a reality check with myself about my
Mhm.
level of skill and what I should be expecting.
I know.
But I had so much fun. It was so light and we just had a good time. And I thought that was as much fun as when we were drinking.
Oh, way more.
Like that night was super well, but you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
worry like you're gonna be weird and you're not gonna be fun and not that we are that way with each other most of the time now
Mhm.
because we're pretty used to it, but
Mhm.
still like that was the same level I don't know. I just thought it was super fun, and it's the first time in a while it's felt that way. And I
For
almost was
sure.
questioning my golf situation. I guess that's where I was going with that. Like, not that I don't want to golf, but I was like, I've been golfing a lot
Mhm.
lately, and I'm like, do I love this? Because I seem to just want to beat myself up about it a lot.
All the time.
Every hole, every stroke. I want to throw my club.
She does.
Sometimes I throw it.
I get so
I don't
mad at
really
you when you do
throw
it.
it. I don't really throw it though. I don't
She
want people to
tosses
think I
it.
just know I let go at the end of my swing because I'm pissed, and that's not
Mm.
appropriate. I let it go, and the momentum takes the club. It's not appropriate. I shouldn't do it. I'm trying to catch myself before it happens. I've only done it like 3 times in the last couple of weeks. I've been very cognizant of it.
You definitely were the most relaxed last Wednesday. So the Wednesday night course, it's a little par 3, par 4 course. It's can kick your butt. You've been working all day. It's we play at night, which
Well,
we're
and
not.
it challenges what I suck at, which
Right.
is chipping and putting.
And we like to do things we're good at, And it was the first time you seemed extremely relaxed. Like I remember when I was nervous about playing with the girls in a tournament, and I had so much fun after that. And for me, that was a moment of this like revelation of I still really enjoy being around girls that still do drink, even though nobody was drinking then.
Nobody drank that day,
Nobody
which
drank,
was great.
which they didn't have an alcohol license, so that's why.
Right.
But
You're right.
but I came home and I told Pat, I was like, this is it. Like, life is so good. Like, and I know it is. It's just sometimes it's hard because you're so used to the certain amount of people that you hang out with that know you're sober and they value that in you and they see your growth and all that good stuff. And then you've got these good friends that were good friends, but you drank a lot with.
Right.
But you've been through some shit with, and then to be, I had a lot of anxiety. I think I talked about it before about playing with them. And it was just this like refreshing, like breath of fresh air. I just felt so like, not that there was a heavy weight, but I felt lighter about just having such a good day. I mean, I laughed so hard but on the other side of that, you seemed really tense.
There were moments that I wasn't. It was funny. I really was fine 99.9% of that day. Was that the day that I felt like I said like you seemed off, that there was something off, you and me? I don't know. We had one day that we played
together.
Maybe. Yes, that you know what? I think that did kickstart me in a weird space. So it wasn't what I expected. I should have specified it when I made the foursome for the tournament that you and I should ride together. So it threw me. You know what I mean? It wasn't the expectation. And so even though it was fine and it shouldn't have been a big deal, like my instant reaction to it was that it was a big deal. And I think it got me started off a little fretty. And then you seemed like you were a little upset with me. And that made me like completely internalize it. Like, oh no, I'm acting weird. And now I'm worried. And now she's not happy with me. And now I don't know how to get us back to square one normal. Like that's what happened. It was just a little bit of a snowbally thing. Because once you're weird, you can't unweird. Like you can't unring the weird bell. And then we're like, well, I don't know, something wrong with you? No, I'm fine. Something's wrong with you. Well, why are you doing like then you just feel weird. I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, so now we're back into it.
Didn't mean to be tense that day. It just was a weird snowball. But I really did have a good time. I would have preferred we rode together. It was less of a big deal because nobody was drinking.
Right.
It would have been more of a big deal if they had been drinking.
If there was like booze and Trulies or whatever the kids are drinking these days.
Yeah. If I'm like watching you suck back your spiked seltzers, that's kind of going to suck, I think.
Yeah. And I don't know. I've been having a lot of fun playing golf. And last Wednesday, some of the Wednesdays I'm like, oh, I just sucked ass and that was it. But last Wednesday it was just fun. And so I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad and that's thanks to you because you've been playing so much that I'm like, oh, all right, well, this is a good way to spend time with Amy. And it's also just rejuvenated that love of getting out there and playing, because it's really all about yourself. Like, it's not like you're out there playing softball and somebody hits a ball and you're like, oh, son of a gun, didn't do that. Or it's just, no, it's you.
It's right. You're trying to beat your own
right?
You're trying to beat your own best score is what it should be about. And that is what it's about. Unfortunately, for those of us with competitive natures, we can't help but want to be the best one on the team. You want to be the best one out there playing. And what's funny to me is that it's always the older women who are totally kicking our asses, which makes perfect sense because they've been playing for 30 years. But as the young athletic chickie, you have a real hard time digesting that because you're like, why is this lady driving the ball so much farther than me?
Got it. How competitive have I been with Maureen? I'm like, okay, I outdrove her.
Yeah.
Woo.
Oh, I drove.
All right, carry on.
Well, I was telling Josh, so here was what happened with the competitive thing. So Lindsey made a comment about like, oh, you're ahead of me by 2 strokes. I gotta beat you or something, whatever you
Mhm.
said to me. And I was like, okay. I'm like, you can't, it's fine if that's what's going on in your head, but you can't tell me that because if I know you're trying to beat me and you're a better golfer than I am.
You keep saying that.
You are. You've golfed longer than I have. You've got more experience. You've got your scratch dad
Daddy.
training, your daddy scratch golfer training. Like, you're a better golfer. It's fine. You should be. You
Oh God, now
should
there's
be
extra pressure.
a better golfer than I am. But I have a hard time with that because I think I should be at the freaking Olympics for anything I do twice. So
Right, like
when you said that, I was like, oh no, you can't say it to me because then I'm gonna be like, well, why should you be beating me? I should be beating you. Oh, it made me weird. So I was fine though. It didn't make it
Okay.
weird. I was fine. I just think I can't be competing with you. And if you
No.
say you're trying to
Okay.
have a better score than me, you're competing with me, which makes me have to compete with you.
Noted. Never a
No, we're good.
competition.
We're good. We're good. And it didn't impact the night. We had a great time.
So
It's things I'm recognizing
Right.
about myself. Like, and I'm trying to be open and honest about it.
No, I love it. I was telling Pat the other day, I was like, I feel like Amy and I's bond is getting stronger and stronger. Like every time we do stuff, even playing golf, right? Like we're going through these motions together. And they're even though they're not drinking, because like we're playing with ladies, and so we're in a lady league, and they're not out there slamming Fireball
No.
and got a bottle of Belvedere's in their
No.
bag and all that good
No.
stuff.
And we would have really been questionably driving home had we been doing this 2 years ago.
Oh God,
If we were doing this
yeah.
Wednesday night league, I mean, we would have been packing a cooler and
Well, I used to not do it because I didn't like that they didn't drink.
oh,
Yeah. So that's why I was like, I'm not driving all the way out here to be sober and then home.
right,
Like,
sober.
what kind of fun, safe shit is that?
Jesus, won't start drinking till 9:00 at night.
So do you think that being so competitive, because we both are in nature, and it just, ooh, I'm gonna say nature, but I don't know what that is. But do you think it's part of that being an alcoholic, or do you think it's just us?
I don't know because I don't know if the competitive thing comes from a place of insecurity. Like the drinking comes for me, comes from a place of insecurity.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
I don't want to feel bad. I eat myself up over silly things like
Please like
thinking
me.
people don't like me. Yeah, or someone's mad at me, or I've done something wrong, or I'm not funny, or I'm not pretty, or I'm not whatever. And I think that's where my drinking comes from. I don't know if my competitiveness comes from the same place. I want to be good at everything because I don't want to feel like a failure. And it's like if you're not winning, you're failing. So I don't know
feel like
if
isn't that like a
yeah,
Bobby,
ain't
what
first,
is
you're
it?
last.
Right.
I don't know. I guess to some degree that's how my head's wired. I used to ride with this crazy German guy, this horse trainer who was a lunatic, and it used to drive me crazy. We'd have these crazy group jumping lessons, and when he had the kids in the arena, he'd be like, "What's second place?" And the kids would have to chant back, "First loser." I know, it was terrible. It was terrible, but
If you're listening to this,
don't teach
not
your
to
kids
write.
that. Don't teach your kids that. But I really don't know if that's the place it's coming from. Is like I need to be at the top of the podium with the gold medal because then people will like me and I'll be successful and happy and I don't
I
know.
guess like it's more of the attention thing for what I guess I'm trying to kind of relate it to. Like if you're good at something and people recognize that and they say that, then
positive
it's
praise.
right. It's
Yeah.
these words of affirmation.
Yeah.
That you're good at that and this and
Mhm.
like, and I just, I remember I was in the our county does like a leadership program, and which I was the last leadership class because of COVID. I don't know if they're doing that anymore, but and there was this like you go to all the different places, whatever. Part of there was we went to the PGA course, and part of it was like a putting competition, and the whole bus was like, "Lindsey, you play golf? Oh my God, you're just totally gonna win!" And I was
No,
just
you're
like, I sucked
not
ass.
now.
No, I didn't make it. And like somebody that never played golf won it, and it was so much more fun than if I had won it anyways. I don't know where story was relating to, but people just automatically assume because you play golf you're good, and I'm like, I played golf for the last 5 years drinking my face off. I don't know how you
Right.
get good at anything but drinking if you're drinking.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like I was playing golf and having a
Oh,
couple
words of
beers.
wisdom. You
It
don't
was
get good at anything but drinking if you're drinking.
right.
I like that one.
Put that on a pillow.
Yeah, we were fucking Olympic sports with that.
Right. I mean, we were going to go have drinks and hit a couple balls.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we were
Yeah, we were
playing.
terrible. We didn't keep score. Our balls went
It
fucking
was like, what do you
everywhere.
feel that was?
Yeah, I feel like that was a birdie.
I feel like my score should have been a 5. I'll
Yeah,
take
that
a
was
5.
totally, yeah.
Yeah, I feel
I
now.
If the wind hadn't blown the wrong way, that would have just gone in.
Right.
Yeah. We were really just drinking out there. It was social hour. And that's whatever. It was what it was. You know, I'm glad we're not doing it anymore. Now I feel like we're enjoying the outdoors. We're enjoying each other's company. We're enjoying the athletic movement of our bodies to do this sport
Right.
because golf it really is very athletic. You may not be jogging around the course, but it does require muscle control and all kinds of things. So I feel like we are enjoying the sport now.
Absolutely.
But yes, my tendency is to beat the shit out of myself when I'm not playing what I feel as well. I don't need to beat everybody. I'm frustrated that I'm not golfing better than I am because I feel like I was at one point. I have a hard time with taking a step back. That's what's going on with Winter and I too. So the last horse that I competed with, Quiz, was a superstar, and I had him for years, and he was an amazing partner, and we crushed it. But he was like almost twice Winter's age when I bought him, and had a lot more experience, and was a lot, calmer and more mature, and da 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 da. And then I was out of it for a while, so now I'm out of shape. All these things. And now I buy this super fancy horse. I mean, he really is incredibly fancy. And I have to figure out how to ride him. And he's still young and doesn't know stuff. And he needs to trust me. And like, we have to build this bond and da 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 da. And I'm frustrated because I'm like, oh, why can't we just go out and jump stuff? Like, I've jumped that before. Why can't I jump that with him? Why am I crazy? Like, I have a hard time with taking a step back. And several months back, I was coming in under 100 regularly, like high 90s on a regular 18-hole course. And we're going out to this executive course where I should be like in the 80s, I think. And I'm shooting 100.
Yeah.
Like, I know. For those of you non-golfers, that didn't mean anything to you, but it was high to me. And so there were some frustrations there. But so I do think there's a component of it that's me beating myself up because I want to play better than I've played before. I don't like feeling like I've taken a step back. And then there's the other piece that is, I guess, wanting to be in a place to be recognized. So I don't know. I guess that's part of it.
Yeah, I hadn't played in a long time, and then getting back into it, I felt like I was like, oh, okay, I'm playing all right. Like, I'm not great. And then I shot the best game I've ever shot with my dad, keeping real score, not like drunk dad score. And then when I went out and played again, I shot, 15 strokes higher. But but I just know that that's going to happen. And like, I was totally okay with that the other night because it was way better than probably the 130 that I scored the week before from being terrible. I think it's just knowing what to expect on that course too for Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So, but like in that comparison thing, like you said, do it twice, and then you're just like, why aren't we at the Olympics?
Right.
I did the same thing. I'm like, I signed up to do this like run challenge for the month, and it was like 62 miles. I was like, oh, that's no big deal. I was like, you're in like 120 miles in 2 months or whatever it was, like 130 miles. And he's like, do you think that's a lot on your body? And I'm like, no, people run really far. He's like, yeah, ultra like marathon runners. He's like, and I'm like, in my mind.
You're like, what do you mean? I'm not?
Right. It's like in my mind, I already put myself in a category of Olympic training that like that's what I'm comparing myself to. And I should just be comparing myself to nobody, but maybe just like
where you should be charting your own progress. Like, oh, I did this last week. I can do this week.
Yeah.
Like a little more. Build.
No, it just gets crazy.
Yeah, I don't enjoy the process. I just want to be great right now.
Right. So finding your passion. So you've always known you were a horse person. You found golf. You kind of found Harley and riding the bikes because of John, I would assume.
Yeah, I won't tell you that's my passion. Like I enjoy. I think the thing that I like most about the motorcycles is the culture of it. Like, yeah, I enjoy the motorcycle, but like I really enjoyed, and again, haven't done this sober,
Mm.
so it could be a question mark. I enjoyed the bike rallies. We'd go to the bike rallies and hang out with a whole like thousands of bikers and go to the Rat's Hole bar where they'd have some band playing, and I don't know. I enjoy that stuff, and people dress like a bunch of hoochie mamas, and it's a fun alter ego
Yeah.
kind of thing, cuz I would totally like, put on my biker garb, like, which is the opposite of my little golf girl
Right.
garb, and kind of have that alter persona, and I didn't really change my personality, but I enjoyed that. That was fun, like, to have a destination to go to, and, that has clearly all changed. I mean, I told Jason how he could sell my bike. I was like, "I don't really care." Like, yeah, I'll get on it once in a while, but I'm not super passionate about it. I'm not like, "Oh, I wanna upgrade my bike and do all this stuff to it and customize it." I don't care. It's
Mhm.
comfy, and I can ride it from point A to point B, like, and now that he doesn't have one, I feel like I'm not that excited about it. So the passionate part about that for me was us doing it together and going to events. Like, that was the fun part to me. So it's definitely changed.
So if you, because you're very like try everything. I mean, you sing, you play golf, like you ride a Harley, you have a horse. Like you're very versatile in your hobbies.
Mm,
What would you suggest, or what do you think is like some good advice for people? Like you said, that woman on Facebook, she was having a really hard time just being like, well, I don't know what I'm passionate about, and like
right.
I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Just
She was definitely feeling a loss of like direction or anything that was
right.
for her. And that was the other thing I was saying is like, make it something that's for you.
Hmm.
Don't, like, if your partner's into something, like if it's something you really super want to try, by all means, but try to find something that's yours and that you really get into and make it yours and enjoy it. And it's funny, while we were talking, I was thinking about the Living Sober book.
Yeah.
So my home group is the Living Sober group, and on Monday nights they read from the Living Sober book, and it goes through, every chapter is kind of a different topic, and one of the topics is talking about like, now these books are super
No,
old,
I
so
can't
they're
remember.
really
It's the first
funny.
one that I
They're
read.
they're really funny. I've never read the whole thing. Like, I've only ever read it in meetings.
Oh, I have it. I'll give it to
I
you.
have it.
Okay.
I have it, but I only read it in meetings. It's very antiquated, and it makes me laugh every time we read it, because it's like, now with our newly sober time, we didn't know how to fill our time, so we took up things like pinochle. Like, it gives this list of all these things to do, and I reflect back on an early meeting. I went as a guest, or not a guest, but I went to a meeting in Jupiter that I don't normally go to, and they were reading this particular section, and it was a day that I was so overwhelmed with life. Like, I was busy,
Mm.
and I was doing my school thing, and I was like, I had all this stuff going on, and I was like, who has all this time to do all these? I wish I didn't know what to do with myself and I could just knit. Like, but it's just funny. It just brings up funny memories. But this book, like, goes through like, we tried all of these things, but genuinely, it's a smart idea. Just try
Try
some
stuff.
stuff. Like, Google, athletic hobbies, non-athletic, whatever. Like, get on
Mhm.
Google and look some stuff up. Order a paint by number kit.
I
Just
know Pat loves those.
stupid things. Like, there's one that's like with jewels you can do.
Yeah.
I make some jewelry. I don't know. Try a bunch of different things. I mean, that would be my advice: is find things that are not outside of your budget, not horses, if it's because that's
And that's
expensive.
another thing I think people feel slightly defeated about, right? Like any hobby, I mean, you can look in this room that we're in now and you can see the hobbies that we have, right?
Right.
Even from, you know, like working in our company, like, we have 2 monitors, 2 laptops, like doing stuff. I mean, it costs a lot of money to have hobbies. If you're
Mhm.
playing tennis for the first time, you need a tennis racket, you need an outfit, and then you probably don't
Mhm.
have the right sneakers. Maybe you have running sneakers.
Right.
Even golf. I mean, it's a very
Yeah, golf
hobbies
is an
are
expensive
expensive, and
hobby.
I
Yeah.
think that it's a good point that you made, because stay in your budget so that you
Mhm.
don't feel overwhelmed, right? You're trying to
Right.
not overwhelm yourself with things that are, oh, and now I can't do this, like, so I might as well just drink. Like,
Right. And try not
yeah.
to, I think the other thing we have a tendency to do as alcoholics is go overboard. Like, I think we have that obsessive compulsive personality where, okay, so let's say somebody decides they're going to get fit, and that's going to be their hobby. They're going to work out. turn into a workout. Well, all of a sudden they're working out like 6 hours a day, or they're at the gym every single day, and then it becomes like all of a sudden you're looking like a dude because you don't have boobs anymore
Well,
and you've got mega pecs. I don't know. I just think, be conscious that you're not doing anything to unhealthy excess. Yeah, try to stay in a budget. Like figure out, okay, I have $20 a week of disposable income. Either save it up to buy something, or that $20 is what you spend every week on whatever you're going to do. Like try to be smart about it. And I think just try lots of things. I think if you go on Amazon or Etsy and um, all those fun sites, you can Google hobbies and find some weird things that you could try. Like,
And
mm,
I try to make myself like, because there's, even running, like when I started running, I was like, oh, now I need new running shoes, like, because my feet are killing me. And
right.
that's
That
like,
is necessary equipment for running.
right. So I was like, all right, well, to make sure that I like running, and these sneakers are $150, let's just say, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this challenge. And then when I complete the challenge, then I'm going to buy myself running shoes, because that will, and then I'll know if I like running or not by how many
Right.
miles this was. So I did that and I bought running shoes. And then the last one, I think I was like, all right, I'm going to buy some golf stuff. If I continue to do golf stuff, I'm going to buy a couple
Mm-hmm.
golf, because for me, I'm like, one golf skirt is not enough. I'm going to need at least 30 of them, even though I'm like golfing, just because that's how I am,
Right.
Like even I was looking, I was like, oh, I'm like, well, now that those golf shoes broke, I'm like, I only have two other pairs and they don't match. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, but it's so stupid. So so I think setting maybe
Yeah.
little baby goals
Baby
to make
steps.
sure you're not just like, oh, I love to knit, I'm going to buy all the yarn in the world and then
Right.
never knit.
I'm gonna own. Don't go to Hobby Lobby. So I want to clarify too, just for our listeners to know, like Lindsay and I don't come from money,
No.
so just heads up, like we're two broke girls. Like we make it sound like we're
Broke's
doing
a
all
state
this
of mind.
expensive stuff. Well, we're making it sound like we do all this
Right.
expensive stuff. We don't make millions of dollars. We don't come from money. I am a really good budgeter of my money. I'm very good at stretching my dollars and allocating things to certain places. Like my husband says, like we kind of run separate bank accounts, and he says to me, he's like, I don't even know how you do what you do with your money.
It confuses me too.
Yeah, I mean, I make it work. I'm very good at budgeting. So, it's doable. You can do a lot if you're really good at that piece. If you're not, then you need to like get some help. Start there. Like
There's your new
maybe
hobby.
maybe you need somebody who's going to help teach you how to budget and do that first. So, baby steps. Find inexpensive, easy things that you can dabble in, and then if as you do find that passion about something, be smart about it. Don't put yourself in a place where you're achy and broke, because that's a trigger.
Yeah, and one thing that's really nice too is like on the Nomo Fun app or Nomo app, it shows you how much money
Oh yeah, I looked
you
at
would
that
have
the other day.
saved. And so what's interesting is that I was actually, so I've like paid off a lot of debt, and I paid off
Good
double
girl.
the amount of debt.
I've not done
I
that.
paid off double the amount that says that I would have saved in my app, which I just
Oh,
found was really cool.
that's
And I have
awesome.
more money now by not drinking, and I don't think it's but from like drinking for me was really, really expensive per se. It was just all the bad decisions that came from it.
Sure. How many times do you shop online?
Oh, let me get this
Drinking.
round. I'm a drink buyer. Like if you
Oh,
if
see,
you,
I wasn't.
I
I'm
would do
cheap.
that to get you to take a shot because I didn't want to take one alone or to have another
Oh,
drink. Oh, I'll get this round.
got it.
So I was like an instigator because I wanted you to drink like I drank.
My Nomo says,
What's your
so
Nomo
my
say?
sober date is September 25th, and today is July 17th. Oh, sorry, and I just lost it. And my Nomo says that I have saved $4,234, which
What? That seems low.
I know. I think I was pretty
I mean, I
conservative.
lowballed mine too on everything.
Okay, so $4,200. So that is almost 6 months of board.
for the horse, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm at 396 days, which for some reason seems like
She's tickled by this 13 months. It's
13
13 months today, and she's tickled.
I
Or
am
yesterday.
yesterday. And I was like, oh, it's 13 months. I'm like, oh. And then mine says $5,655, which is just sounds about right. Double that.
So
what
I feel
paid
like
off.
yours is conservative, because mine
Mine's
says
definitely
4,000,
conservative.
and you're 13 months compared to my 10.
I did conservative because my girlfriend Michelle was like, you never paid for all those drinks anyways. People just bought
Like,
you
I'm
drinks.
pretty.
And I so So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, she's like, I think that's a little high. I'm like, I think it's low. I stopped at Publix a lot to pick up some bottles of
Right,
wine.
right. Well, I remember when I was
And I
putting
never
my
wanted to
stuff
run
in.
out.
Yeah, when I was putting my numbers in, you were like, "No, I think that's low. We did at least this much a week."
So, all right, really quick, because
Yep.
we're going to wrap it
Wrap it up.
up. So what have you been reading? Anything interesting?
Oh, I
What you
meant to
been
pay
reading?
attention. What you been reading? I meant to pay attention. I just ordered a new book and I forget what the heck it was. I haven't been reading a sober book right now,
Okay.
so I don't
I
have any
can't
good
remember
feedback for
what's
that. I talked about the Living Sober book. There's my
Oh,
book my
good
book
call. I did
input.
read that one too. I'm looking for my Audible app because I
Mm.
absolutely love my
I
Audibles.
don't know if I can see what I have on my Kindle on my
So
phone. I
I
just ordered a new one.
just listened to Here Kitty Kitty. I wasn't yeah, I wasn't a huge fan. I didn't really like the way
Okay.
it was. But one thing I did listen to was Alan Carr's Easy Way to Control Your Drinking.
Oh,
And by
yeah, yeah.
control, he means to not drink. So clarifying
So
that.
more about controlling your urge to drink,
Yeah, and
maybe?
it was an interesting concept because he spoke of AA in a good way, but also sometimes in a not so good way. And so that will generally turn me off.
Mm.
But I've been trying to keep an open mind and listen to both sides, just like in politics and whatever. So I listened to it and it was basically like if you don't have a desire to drink, you're never gonna miss not drinking because you don't want to do it. It's like you don't want to jump off a bridge, so you don't really miss not jumping off bridges because you're like, oh well, I never wanted to do that anyways. And that might have been an extreme example, but it was just interesting. And I'm very pro AA, so me suggesting this book is not for anything anti AA, but I will say that it was nice to have a different perspective. And it would be on a Lindsey suggestion book, Alan Carr, The Easy Way to Control Alcohol or something, and they have a women's version too, but I saw that too late after I'd already downloaded this one. So it was good. There's definitely some little nuggets in there, some takeaways that I felt like were beneficial.
Nice.
And it helped me too with not smoking. So I can't imagine how much money I've saved not smoking. I should have started that, but I never started it because I didn't think I'd be able to stop smoking forever. So I never put it in my phone. So I wonder if I should just go back and kind of maybe just conservatively see what that would have been like since last November.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. Because I'm December, January, February, March.
You should be a millionaire.
I'm like 8 months. This is the longest I've ever gone in my entire life without smoking a cigarette
That's awesome.
or a drag or anything. But anyways, it's a really good book.
Okay.
And then I'm listening now to, what did I tell you I was listening to? Beautiful Boy.
Oh, yes.
And they're making a movie. Somehow I don't even know how I
It is.
downloaded.
Yeah, I think it's already out. It is a movie.
Oh, it is out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
it's
Well, now I
done.
gotta finish
Movie is
it.
made.
Movie is made. It's don't you love when that happens?
It was
But-
funny as we were walking the office this morning. She's like, "Oh, I just started listening to Beautiful Boy." I'm like, "Isn't that a movie?" It was funny.
But it is. It's about a parent, which is interesting. I'm not a parent, but of a kid who's addicted to meth, and so I just kind of started it. I've been obsessed with it. So, so I'll let you know how that one goes. So yeah,
Awesome. Well, good episode.
very good. And we are gonna go
Yeah, we're gonna go play some golf. Have some
Woohoo.
self-love on this Furlough Friday. Self-care,
self-care,
self-love,
for sure.
self-care, whatever.
Self-treats.
Same. So you can stay sober wherever you are.
We choose to do it in paradise.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.